Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FPL Manor podcast show with your host, the FPL Manor. My name is Wally. Last weekend, we saw a lot of exciting results, starting with Senegal defeating Mali 1-0. We saw Nigerian Super Eagles defeat the Fennec Foxes, that is Algeria, 2-0 win with Akko Adams and Victor Osimhen getting on the score sheet. Egypt fought hard and well to see out a 3-2 result against Ivory Coast, while the host Morocco kicked out Indomitable Lions Cameroon to a 2-0 win. And, we're down to the final four teams. The final four teams in Nigeria, Senegal, Egypt, and Morocco set to face each other for the AFCON Cup of Nations. Defending champions are out, Ivory Coast, so we are going to get a new crown champion for this contest. And someone will leave that behind me there for the AFCON Cup of Nations. Welcome to FPL Manor Podcast Show. This is yours, the FPL Manor. My name is Adewale. Shortly, I'll be telling you how my team performed last week. I'll be sharing a few tips what to expect for Matchday 6, that is semi-finals. And I have a huge announcement on the end on where this series will be going. And the Champions League Fantasy starting next week on Tuesday, 20th of January 2026. You're welcome. Let's start with our fantasy teams. Let's look at my team. How did I perform last week? We'll do a side-by-side comparison. So let's pair these two together and see how we performed in the big pyro. So on my left side here, I got 90 points. 90 points. I had Hakimi as my captain. Mendy, Mazwari, and Osimhen got double digits. No really bad performances here, except for a few blanks from Amad Diallo, Diouf, and I think Ekabi got an assist, but only managed 4 points, while Diaby, who did not even keep a clean sheet, got 5 points, so thanks to DEFCON there. And 90 points it is. As it stands, my current rank is 1,016, so we are very, very close to the top 1,000. Meanwhile, on my left here, you can see my rank. I'm in the top 100. I was 105 last week. Now I'm in the top 100. For my team points, I also got, I think, 85 points. Then I took a hit. I didn't know I took a hit till, towards the end. I had like 15 minutes left, and I just noticed that I was in a rush. I brought in Diata, I brought in Papa Gueye, and these are my 5 transfers here. So I did not know. I knew that I could only make 4 transfers, but I did not know I had made 5 transfers by the time I submitted. So that cost me a point hit or 4 point hit, and I still managed to get 100 points. This is how my team performed. I captained Aduma Lukman. He did not score or assist, but he got me 5 points to that total 10, and I got a total of 81 points. There were returns everywhere except from my captain and Diallo, so I'm not angry. I wish I didn't take a hit for Gueye, who I did not even play anyways, but it is what you get what you get. And that's how my team performed. So 90 points on the left, 81 points on the right. Seems like a very decent week, and we're here for it. Sadio Mane facing his former teammate, Liverpool teammate, Mohamed Salah. Then we have the Nigeria-Morocco game. Final 4 teams are set. I have a bit of a cold, so I'm going to wrap this up in less than 10 minutes. This episode should not be very long. So I have a bit of a cold, and I don't know. I'm usually a very strong guy, and all this doesn't really affect me, but I don't know. The Hamatan dust in Nigeria here is has gotten to me, and I'm having catarrh, and I'm still treating malaria. So that aside, I'll be wrapping this up quickly. I'm just sharing my thoughts on what to expect going into the final round. Please make sure you follow me on X at the FPL Manor if you haven't by now. And an important announcement to make: this will be the final episode for our AFCON Fantasy Series. To be honest, we are really at the end, and any of these 4 teams remaining are not really getting eliminated per se, because we'll still get a 3rd place kickoff, and basically all your picks will still be available for the final set of matches, and maybe some rotations for those that don't make it to the final. But talking about 3rd place, let's use that venue to go into the rules. So we have a bit of a confusing part I want to explain on Sofascore Fantasy, so stay tuned. I'll put it on this timestamp. We have 2 deadlines before the final. So we have Matchday 6 and Matchday 7, but we have a Matchday 6.5 in between. So let's go to the Sofascore Fantasy rules, but this only applies to Sofascore so far. If you go to Sofascore Fantasy rules and you scroll down to schedule, you see a deadline. I see being adjusted. Okay, you see a deadline anyway. So each deadline has its own day. So semi-final deadline is January 14th, 6 p.m. West African time here, or at least European time here. And on 17th is on 20th. Meanwhile, we have transfers for both. They have adjusted the stuff. They initially separated before the deadline and top place match. But anyways, basically what it seems like, we have a top place match deadline prior to now. I think it has been updated. I don't know why I'm not seeing the deadline as it is, but it was not updated like this before. We had like 4 transfers we could make before the final, and 4 transfers we could make again before for the third place match and before the final. But it seems like Sofascore have adjusted that. Wow, that changes my whole plan. I kind of planned around it, but we were supposed to have the 6.5 week where we had 4 transfers before the final and before the third place match, and another 4 transfers before the, but because it looks like they have adjusted this. But anyways, we can bring in 6 players per any team right now, and we can make 4 transfers on Sofascore Fantasy, and I think it's 5 here on, I think it's 5, yes. Oh, we still have 4 transfers here. We still have 4 transfers. I thought it's 5 according to the deadline. 4 transfers. Okay, still also 4 transfers. So the rules are pretty much similar. In that case, is there any player we should worry about that is unavailable? So for Nigeria, we have we have Wilfred Ndidi, who got his 2nd yellow card before the semi-finals. Now, naturally, if you are playing tournament football, you should know that a 2nd yellow card before the semi-finals equates an automatic suspension. And if Ndidi was one of those players who got not sent off per se, but as he was subbed off, he got his 2nd yellow card on his way out of the game. I'm trying to look for that the graphics I saw on Ndidi being unavailable. Yes, so we've had Ndidi is unavailable. So how does this affect Nigeria? Because Nwabali, the Stanley Nwabali, the only goalkeeper that this trusted one for Nigeria Super Eagles, is also suspended because he had the 2nd yellow card, and 2 yellow cards before semi-finals is automatic suspension. Right now, the yellow cards are being reset, but Nigeria will be without Stanley Nwabali, and they will be without Ndidi for the semi-finals against Morocco. So how does this affect our picks for the next round? So I will try and suggest some transfers, and I'll wrap this video in the next 3 minutes. Hopefully I don't exceed my time. So I have a few transfers I've written down here that I would like you guys to target. First on my list here, let's go to Sofascore and start searching for their names. Will be Omar Mamouche. Mamouche got his 2nd goal of the AFCON contest last time, and he was very ferocious in his shot taking, finishing with how many points is this? 8 points against Ivory Coast. He could be the groundbreaking edge you need to stand out if you don't have like a Musala or Sadio Mane or Ademola Lookman. You're looking for an edge in your forward line. However, you cost you 10.3 million on Sofascore Fantasy. Meanwhile, on this other side of the game, that is WFS, he will cost you 9.6 million. So it's a premium asset. So in case you're looking for an edge, you don't have Akko Adams, you don't have money, you don't want to jump on every popular asset because you feel the time has passed, you could jump on these other assets I'm recommending. Another one to recommend is definitely Nigerian star creator there, star midfielder there. Not like Lookman this time, but in one of the underrated ones, in Alex Iwobi. Alex Iwobi is 7 million here. He has had, according to Sofascore, or rather Opta stats, he has made the most 36 line breaking passes in the knockout stages, more than any other player. So he's the visionary for Nigeria so far, and he has not really contributed more than 2 assists in his first game. But if there was a time for him to contribute, it would definitely be against a Moroccan team who are very difficult to play against, and are still one of the best teams despite Nigeria showing their real colors against Algeria. Let's see if the Super Eagles can knock out another North African team before making it to the final. Another player to recommend here is one of Senegalese, Diatta. I have in my team currently 6.1 million here, but he's a midfielder in the game here. On Sofascore Fantasy, he has been very, very good with creating a lot of chances for the Senegalese side. Even though he plays as a wing back, he's still very, 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 very much effective. No goal or assist last week, but he got 8 points against Mali. So he's one of those players that can contribute in terms of key passes, in terms of blocks, duels, and a lot of things that midfielders are very good at doing. Maybe one of these days he will get his own goal. But 6.1 here also as a midfielder. So he's one player you could consider, especially if you have some cheap asset like Maza out. So one of these players I'll most likely bring in for Maza as we look out for Senegal facing Egypt. In case you're not considering Diatta, you could consider Ndidi of Senegal as well, who is 6.9 million, not too far away in terms of their prices. But however, I think Ndidi we have to watch we have to see the early lineups. I'm not sure who plays first. In case he or Ismail Assar gets the nod in terms of starting position. So Senegal get the first game. So we get to wait till 6 p.m. West African time here, or 5 p.m. in GMT, to see if one of him or Ismail Assar starts and know who to decide on among the two. But in case you want some clarity on minutes, you could just go for Diatta. Saibari or Ezaloui from Morocco are also some decent assets to look out for. This guy almost scored last time. I think he had the most shots in that match against what's the name now? Against Cameroon. Finished with 6 points. He was unable to score. However, his colleague Saibari, that's been trying effortlessly shooting blanks, finally got one into the bag, and Ishmael, or rather Saibari, got his first goal in the AFCON Cup of Nations from a set piece, and could be influential against Nigeria. I'm not sure why this is a green. Why is Sofascore ranking Nigeria as an easy game? Far from easy. But I mean, I'm not the one doing the feature difficulty rating, so that's it. But in case you're interested in Nigerian assets as well, probably in defense, if you have a defender that is out, like for example, I have Saibari Diaby out, you could consider Nigerian this time defender, in name of maybe Bright Osai Samuel or Bruno Oyemachi, who also got 14 points last time with his sweet assist cross to Victor Osimhen. Or you could get his other wing back on the other side, Osai Samuel, who I don't know, it seems to be a doubt. But in case he's available to play, please make sure you bring him in. He has gotten 19 points in his last 2 matches and should be influential in helping Nigeria at least go to the next round. Now remember, any of these sides that don't make it will be available for the 3rd place match. So since now we've seen that Sofascore have updated their, I don't know, it was weird because these things were, Sofascore is weird because I can verify this stuff. If you go to official Sofascore page, you will see there was the official place when they left, I don't know, let me just verify. There was a spot under transfers. Exactly. I know I'm not blind. Before 3rd place, 4 transfers. Before final, 4 transfers. Sofascore has updated it. They call me FPL Manual, right? And one of the reasons I chose that name is because I stick to details. I'm a detail-oriented person, so I read everything back to front or front to back. It has been updated because you can see before the final and 3rd place match is only 4 transfers right now. However, this is Sofascore's actual Twitter channel, and you can see they see 4 transfers here and 4 transfers here. I don't know why they updated it. I'm not sure how but they have seen the gaping hole in their error or something. It's the first time Sofascore has hosted this, so we will not question the reasons why. But look, we just have 4 transfers by the final, so there's no more week 6.5 as I initially thought. And so that'll be it. I don't really have any transfer news per se. Everybody's preparing for their final matches against each other, and personally, I'm just excited for Champions League that's returning soon. Champions League returning soon. I think Sofascore has their own version of Champions League fantasy on their website here with about 221,000 managers. I don't play Champions League fantasy on this website, but if you want to check out where I play Champions League fantasy, you could come to gaming.uefa.com. That's official UEFA game where you actually win something, because we don't have any announcement of prizes on either platforms. We are playing WFS and Sofascore. We don't have any actual announcements on prizes to be won even after the AFCON is contest over. And I'm like rank 1,000 and something right now, and 100 in both of them. So I mean, I might not win anything at the end of the day, but in case you feel like you could win something, my final announcement to be join me next week on Monday or so. I'll be posting about Champions League fantasy, giving you news on who is available, doing feature tickers, doing all of that. So make sure you stay tuned, follow, subscribe. You guys have subscribed. Many of you that were did not know about AFCON fantasy, I've gotten a little bit more knowledgeable or influenced by the videos I've produced. So I really appreciate you guys coming in, week out, tuning in to see what I have to say and listening to whatever transfers I have arranged. As I said, I'm a little bit under the weather, and I'm preparing for Champions League coming up soon. So I think this will be my final video for the African Cup of Nations in terms of AFCON fantasy, but I'll be posting on X in case I see something relevant in injuries or suspensions. But thank you all for tuning in so much. I really appreciate all of you. You guys are the best. Really appreciate you guys. We'll see next week for our AFCON fantasy, or rather for Champions League fantasy, and that'll be all. Enjoy your time. Have a nice week. I'm your arrows be green, as I always say. Bye for now. Ciao.